Hey there, good morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you for being here for the Undercurrent Deactivator update. So, to talk a little bit about this particular tool, I'm just going to go through some story time. So, basically, this tool, I think it was probably early October that this and the Peace and Ease wand came through. And at first, when this one came through and Brendan and I were sitting there looking at it, she got to the part where it hurts my heart. And I thought she was going to I thought we were going to do some more work to the tool. And I stopped her right there. I was like, no, currently, this is the tool that I personally need in my world because of, you've heard the description probably of where I've seen that it just like opens up your energy and it gets down deep through your energy. And at the time, that is what I was working at, is that, I'd stop doing my clearing work because, once you get in and do your clearing work, like with the wisdom tools, you get to the point to where if you are wanting to clear, that is what the universe will provide to you. There's a certain point in your evolution of doing this work that you just say, wait, I've created the snowball, I've shoved it down the hill. There's no need for me to chase after it. I'm going to let it go because truly your light is going to take care of those things. And if you are seeking to do clearing work beyond, that is what will come. So I was in the phase of being completely done with clearing work, but yet there was still something deeper, and I just felt like I needed to clear more. So many of us have had some experiences with this wand, and some of the common occurrences have been that I don't wear it. I've only touched it for a moment, and it keeps working on me, and it's horrendous. Um, And, because when we're going through and we're doing this deep work, there is grace and ease to the process, but many of us like to just jump in and get it done. Just get in, do the work, no matter how hard it is, get through it and move on. And that's always been the way I operate. Um, so with this wand, it was doing that. It was getting in, and Mary here at the studio calls this the Great Disruptor, and she uses the Great Disruptor wand sparingly. Um, but everything changed. So on December 5th, and I had known that there was something that needed to be done with this wand. It wasn't quite right. It was great for getting in and truly disrupting some of those things, moving out, you know, chunks of energy. But, kind of that was one of the warnings in the beginning when this was the Undercurrent Deactivator wand, and it's not no more. But when it was the Undercurrent Deactivator wand, that was kind of one of the warnings that, you don't want to get in and do major shifting of stuff because birthing these big blocks of stuff can be a little bit more painful. Um, so anyway, moving beyond that to December 5th, when we went to look at this wand. And I have not told the story yet in full. So I'm going to tell you the story in the full of what it is that presented to me, how I seen it, and at the same time, what Brenda was doing. So here we go. December 5th, when we sat down to look at the wand. And of course, when we're working with the tools, we work with Heimdall. Now, Heimdall, as some of you know, is the guardian to the etheric templates, the higher dimensional aspect of the tools. So we create these physical tools here in this other realm first, and then they are housed there. And then when we create the physical tools, the energetic component is then housed in the physical tool. So when we go to work on these etheric templates, so Brenda comes in, I'm holding space too, but I personally don't work with Heimdall. My sister does. You know, as far as communication, all that goes. So, you know, in Heimdall, how he presents to Brenda is he's, you know, dressed in like, I don't know, like a smoking jacket is how I picture it, just kind of regal. And he's sitting by a fireplace. And that's usually where she finds him. And so Heimdall is sitting there by the fireplace, and we were talking about this tool. So at the time, as Brenda was sitting there with Heimdall, I was taken to the space in another realm. It is where we exist as consciousness, as the beings that we are. And I'd actually had gone to this realm not too long ago, a month or two ago. I was taken there, and you know, it was the first time I truly felt how much we are supported from the other realms. I mean, it is unfathomable to really imagine in the human how much support we truly have in those other realms, and including ourselves. So I was in these other realms, and there's a lot of beings there. And like I saw with the original Undercurrent Deactivator wand on how it created like this hydrophobic effect in like what I saw at the time as my energy. What occurred and how I seen it was these beings in this other realm, and then we were here, and it's like an opening occurred, you know, an hourglass shaped opening occurred. And that opening is that opening between the realms. And in the other realms is where you find you, your light, your consciousness in its purest form, your light in its purity without all of the rest of the human rays of light and creation, you know, which is your lifetimes, your experiences, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, otherwise. That is what exists in the realm of the human as far as the light, the consciousness, because it is your consciousness that patterns the energy, which then manifests into reality. That is the metaphysics of creation. And so, like with the human, and you have all these other patterns of light, but then at the very core of it all is your light in its purest essence, in its purest form. And so it is that light, that opening in the realms, it is that light now that is coming through. So Heimdall grabbed onto this, you know, this light, but it's not just a single light. It's not your light. It's just kind of in a general. He grabbed that light from the other realms and brought it into the etheric templates of the tools. Once it comes into those etheric templates, our etheric templates, again, are in that other dimensional plane, that other realm, and they are housed under a pyramid in a dome, and they are very protected by Heimdall so that there's no outside interference of any outside consciousness within these tools. So as the protector and guardian of that field, he ensures that it is all in that purest form as it comes through. So with this light that is now coming into the etheric templates of the tools, this light comes through all tools that we've ever created, all the Twisted Sage tools. So now with this pure light, it is a light without agenda. Now the agendas. So when I was creating the tools for the past 14 years, I had most always had my own agendas with that. And the agendas might be clearing, healing, clearing soul contracts, integrating soul shards. Like with the wisdom, the agenda put into that wisdom field was that whole structure, energetic structure that allowed your lifetimes and experiences to flow back to soul. So then, because so that they don't get stuck here in the field, you hold on to them, they manifest in the physical, they play out in your realm, which I've talked about a lot before, about how there that the other soul aspects that can include even like a trauma in a lifetime, that an aspect is created around that, you know, these different aspects, these different traumas that come in and influence our creation. They are all a part of us, but some of them aren't even from this lifetime. And so they truly aren't ours to carry. So with the wisdom tools, that structure of the wisdom field, there was still an agenda within there. And that agenda was simply to help release all of those experiences back to wisdom, to soul. So when we started getting into some of the newer tools, like the nothing space, the highest potentials, even the grounding. The grounding, there's slight agendas in that. And the only agenda really in the grounding energetic is that your heart is connected with the earth and your mind is connected with you, creation. And so the grounding, very little agendas. Now, when we get to the nothing space, the highest potentials, the expanse of light, and now then the pure light of you, all of these newer energies, pardon me, do not carry agendas. They're not there to fix or heal or clear or manifest or make you abundant or any of those things, because those are all side effects of you stepping into your light. And so when we do the work in these new fields, we're not stepping in there so with the intention truly of, oh God, I need to fix or heal or clear or whatever, because that's not really your job anyway. The soul already knows what it is that you desire. You can hold your desires, but not be projecting them as agendas into the field. And so with all of the new energies, and particularly this wand, so this wand no longer has that agenda of the undercurrent deactivator, of getting in and doing the deep clearing, but yet it takes place. Again, that is a side effect of you bringing in and holding your light. All right. So I'm going to do my best today at answering questions and describing energies, because I truly do not know yet enough about this wand. So I've been sitting with it for a few days, and I'm going to see what we can do here today. All right. Oh, and if you have any other questions besides questions on the wand, please do bring them to 50 Questions Friday, and I would be more than happy to discuss those. Like questions on grid points and such. When I first got the Undercurrent Deactivator wand, I would hold it and my third eye would start to hurt. Now that the energetics have changed in the wand, I can actually wear it and not just sleep with it. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you noted that change in the energetics, Jennifer. How does the undercurrent compare to the peace and ease? And is a new name coming for the undercurrent? Okay, so the peace and ease wand, the peace and ease wand to me still has some of the wisdom fields in it. It is a field, like in the beginning when I saw the peace and ease. Again, it just kind of took me on like this musical current, and it just took me above everything, give you that angel's peak view of of all the chaos. And when you're not standing in the midst of the stuff, you it's a whole different world from standing in the middle of the crap to standing above it and witnessing it and seeing it. Um, two different realities there. So this takes you into that higher reality, takes it above it all. So you're not so enmeshed into it. So that's what I feel on the peace and ease wand, is that it is all about that field of peace and ease, but there is the wisdom energetic in this as well. So you can still utilize this for doing the release work. So this one is kind of it's kind of very much on the edge of the agendas of doing and just the light of you. This one is pretty well balanced in that. So if you feel like you still would like to do the work, of being aware of what comes up, and as it comes up, you are holding the wand and it's making that connection, that flow back to soul, with what you're releasing. So then you hold the silver peace and ease wand, you take the breath, and you're releasing what it is that came up in your awareness. And it doesn't matter what it is, physical, mental, emotional, life situation. It's all energy and it's all patterned there for you. And you can change it. Very simple. It's making a clear, conscious choice. So you can choose to shift those patterns with this wand. Now, when we step into this wand and just be, right, you gotta just be. And that totally is with this wand. Now, from what I've been seeing is that you can still use it to run energy. And when you are using it to run energy, what you are doing is you are taking, let's say you have something here in the physical and it's, you know, let's just say that this is some energetic thing, that it's some old trauma, maybe from this life, who knows? And, and you can tell it's energetic because a lot of times when you do the work, that pain will move. So that's one sure way to tell that it's energetic. But, in true reality, everything is energetic to begin with. And then it manifests in all the various ways, whether it is through a virus or whatever. But truly, it is all energetic in the beginning, ultimately. But anyway, as we would run energy to whatever this is that you're working on, what you are doing is you are bringing your awareness of your pure light, your light without this, your light in its purest form. That light in its purest form is still a part of this. It's like you are amplifying that pure light. And as you are running the energy and you are using your heart-based imagination, which is the new way to manifest and to create, heart-based imagination. You're using your heart-based imagination that you are going into that spot. And all you are doing is you are bringing that pure light in there. And that pure light mixes with the light of you as the human. And so that pure light, it's shifting and changing everything there. And again, we don't go in and we're like, gosh dang it, I need to fix and heal this. That is totally the mindset you have to step out of. Because the fixing, the healing, again, those are the side effects of you allowing in your light. So when you're running the energy, it is a space of allowing. And again, that is what this infinity is this is the infinite allowing infinity. which when again, that's part of this, so that when you just really tune into the wand and you're just in that space of allowing all the highest potentials beyond your imaginings, beyond your limitations that you try to put onto it. And that's it, is that your mental will get in there and it limits everything. So be limitless and allow the highest potentials, because the highest potentials is a part of your light. So you're running that pure light and just allowing it to do the work. So let's see. Been using the Undercurrent Deactivator to help release programming and soul aspects that don't serve. It's been wonderful. Awesome. And so as far as the field and how this affects a room or a home, these very much are just a very small personal field. And so it doesn't radiate out into the room or the home. So yeah, it's just a personal field. And yeah, so the shifting and changing, the releasing of those things that do not bring you joy or that you feel no longer serve you, that's where we're at right now. And the biggest thing is just being in your light, and this just simply helps to bring in that pure essence of your light. And so I do need to go here to email, because we do have somebody who wasn't able to attend today. And so this webinar is actually both for the folks at UWealth Revolution who purchased one of the options that includes the Undercurrent Deactivator. And we were going to do a separate webinar for them tomorrow, but we just want to include it all together, and the more people that we have in that view and participate in this, just the greater the field it is. Because when we create these spaces, they're a safe, sacred space that all your crap doesn't come into the field. That's what a sacred space is. All that stuff stays on the outside. So I just felt it would actually be better, so that one, I don't have to do 2 classes, but 2, so that we can all be in this one together. So for those of you at UWealth Revolution, and we're going to go through more today, and I will give you some, we'll do some things with this tool just to give you some ideas on how to utilize it. Just to confirm, the shifts and changes will not be so abrupt now. Yes. Now, with the Undercurrent Deactivator, again, it came with the warnings that, yeah, it can be disruptive. And no, it is no longer the great disruptor. But yet, the shifts that occur within your being are not dictated by something outside of you. It is always your soul, your higher self, that is in charge of however it all flows and goes. So basically, yeah, just trust in the process. Your soul will never push you farther than you can take it. Even though I've been laying on the floor feeling like I was dying, and my soul just stood there and and smiled and said, "You're going to be okay." So really, the soul does not understand the human suffering. But now that we are stepping into our mastery, after doing all the wisdom work, we are filling in the master us. And this master you is a culmination of the soul and the wisdom of the human lifetime. So the master you, that part of you that you can better connect with in the soul, that because it has more of the human understanding and experience, has a lot more empathy for the human experience than the actual soul does. But anyway, you'll never, you might get uncomfortable, but again, it is between you and your soul on the work that occurs. But we do put the underlying concept agenda that is with grace and ease. But I usually break those rules. So let's see. Oh yeah, I'm looking up an email because there was somebody who brought up some really good questions and points. Gosh, pardon me. I thought I had it. Here we go. All right. So my intuitive healer and body worker was charmed by the wand. He said it was sending my chi in a certain direction. When I put the wand through my 2 rings, he noted that the energy increased greatly. As a sound healer and a blessing person, I'm thinking about how to harness this in my work to send out the loving and healing intentions more strongly. Okay. So, and then with her, it's not just doing just distance work. Let me see here. It would be hard to hold them in my hands when I'm doing sound healing as I'm playing instruments. I usually transmit blessings while I'm playing. He suggested that I imagine the wand being put through 5 or 7 rings to amplify it. Please, okay. Oh, yes. And then also there was a comment about possibly doing the New Year's Eve seminar a little bit later in the day, which we certainly might do that just to assist with a few of us who will probably be having a long rest of the year. Let's see. So, okay. So let me address some of the things here real quick. And the 2 rings that come with and that she is discussing. So the 2 rings that came with the U Wealth Revolution package, with the Undercurrent Deactivator wand, it came with the wisdom ring, the 3-inch wisdom ring, and then also the expansive light bangle. So one of the thoughts was, one of the experiments was actually putting the wand through the rings. Now that is that's really an interesting thing to do with the tools. One, when you start to stack the tools like 2 rings, it increases the potency of the field by about 23%, but it also brings through usually something greater than the sum. So these 2 energies come together, the expansive light and the wisdom, and it's like both the fields are there, but there's also something more. Then when you bring that Undercurrent Deactivator wand, that there's a definite change and difference in that field. Whew, I love it with the expansive light. Whew, wow, yeah. Yeah, I like it with single rings. The wisdom in this seem to be doing something a little different. They almost feel like more on the physical plane. Whew, and this gives me a head rush. The expansive light and this one together. So to me, this wand, again, it does not have all the agendas. To me, this wand is containing the highest potentials field, I feel, is in here. There's the grounding that is a part of the infinity, which is also part of that infinite allowing. So there's the infinite allowing, which is that space opening more. It's that space of, just presence to allow in your light. And there's the expansive light, because the expansive light is part of all the tools. And it is the pure light of you. And so, yes, we do need a new name for this wand, and I'm not sure yet. And so please do think on it here today and brainstorm possibly. How to utilize this then? That question was, how to utilize this during that sound healing session? And I might actually have to think on that one a little bit more. And in all actuality, yes, these are quantum tools. Now, what I'm envisioning is that you create a column of light, and that you create that. It's not necessarily really a column of light. It's almost like you are taking this wand and you are bringing it in energetically into the space, and you are expanding that out. And with that, I think we can anchor a column of light and keep this held. Let's give this a try. Okay, so if you have the wand, that is grand. If you do not, that is perfect too. So we're going to start by feeling into the energetics of this wand and into that space, that pure light of you. And then once we do that, so ultimately what our intention is to anchor this energy into a space. So let's give this a shot. I don't know. All right. So closing your eyes, taking that breath from the earth, that breath from creation, bring it both together within you so you are grounded, connected, and in the heart space. Now feel into this copper wand and feel into that pure light of you. Don't forget to breathe. And it's not a trying or a doing, just being in that space of allowing. Be soft, be open. And just allow in that pure light of you. Now imagine that pure light of you as just a small column of radiant energy, or however it is that you perceive it. To me, it's almost like a yellowish white light. And to me, it does kind of look like, like a column of energy about this width of a room. And it's just there before me in the space that I'm imagining. And I'm imagining connecting that to the heart of the earth and to the heart of creation, like doing a Trinity breath. So if you have it there, imagine standing in that space of just the pure light of you. And then let's step back, leaving that space there as it is and coming back to you here and now. So I'm not sure if that space is going to hold permanently. I have a feeling that space will hold for at least a half to 3/4 of the day. That's mine that I put up. That's my feeling I get from it. Now, okay, so right now mine is being anchored in permanently into my living space. So what you can do is you can ask, when we used to create columns of light, we would actually ask others that were there in service in the highest and best to come in and assist by holding their awareness onto that column in order to keep it held in place. Because when you create a column of light, usually they'll dissipate within a few days unless you bring your awareness back to them. And so, we would always bring in okay, let me step back and say, this column of light is going to be there for, at least that half a day. unless you bring your awareness back onto it. So every few hours, if you bring your awareness back to that space, it'll help hold it more solid there without it just fading out. So you can, if you really feel like you need that assistance of, asking for, Archangel Michael or, some outside help, it is okay to do that. Um, because there are so many in the other realms that truly are there for you. And, you know, some of this stuff is like training wheels. That's what the tools have always called them, training wheels, is that they help us realize that we can do these things and then we can do them without the tools. And one of the reasons is, one is because that field is already there. And two, you're self-empowered and you've stepped beyond your beliefs and your doubts and all the other crazy crap that keep you in the little box. So step out of the box. So yeah, play with that whole concept there. All right, I'm gonna go back here to online. Can someone start with this wand or should they start with the wisdom? I personally recommend starting with the wisdom. I agree. Yep. So yeah, the wisdom to get in and do the stuff. Yes. If you're not into doing the work and you're just kind of floating through, man, go with this new wand because the wisdom's going to get in and make you do the work. And I'm almost thinking that it's a potential that people don't have to do it the hard way of doing the wisdom wand work. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I have a sneaking suspicion that at some point here real soon, people aren't going to have to do it that way. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are ready to not do it that way, that they're ready to just come in, bring in their light, and let their light do the work. But yeah, it just depends on starting out between this wand and the wisdom wand. Anymore, I'm almost feeling like if I was ever going to gift somebody any one tool to totally shift their life, I think this would be the wand. I really do. It just depends on where they're at. But to me, it's going to bring just that light. And again, I truly believe that is going to be the new paradigm of how we do the work, is we just bring in our light and let our light do the work. Hey, thanks for Booster for the comment here too, because first time I picked up the wand since an incident, and no burps no burps during the meditation. Thanks for bringing the grace and ease. Yeah, because I believe I had an email there, you discussing a lot of the things that happened in working with the Undercurrent Deactivator wand and how it, it totally brought up stuff in a big way. And so, yeah, if this was still the Undercurrent Deactivator wand, I would say, no, do not give this to anybody who's just starting out. But now this is an exceptionally grand tool for people starting out because it's not the agendas. It is just the pure light of you. All right. So let's see some other ways to work with this pure light of you. I really don't know because, I was thinking, well, maybe there's some other ways like doing distance work and working with this and working with that. No, this is not a tool to make changes and to work with. Well, it is to make changes and to work with, but it's not for anything outside of you. It's not for anything outside of you. This isn't the one really to come in and say, okay, that over there needs a bunch of light. Well, you can still bring your light. Okay. So I'm going to retract that statement because most of the time when all the other tools with agendas and saying, hey, let's fix and clear and heal and do and everything else. God, I got a lot of other wands floating around. But anyway, These ones I've always tried to, kind of say, hey, let's not really work on the outside world as much. It started with the golden fire and light one. That was one that was always about working everything outside of you because that was the perception of the time, is that everything is outside of you and, to a large extent. And that, hey, I'm a light worker and I'm here to change the world, bring light to it. So, and I kind of try not to push that concept anymore because it's just a reflection of you as creator. That's all it is. And so you don't change the outside by focusing on the outside. You change the outside from within, which changes the outside. And so that's really where we're going with these tools is not trying to fix or heal or change anything, including that which is around you. But, if you are mature enough in your spirituality that you have the true compassion, which is allowing everyone their path. If you are in true compassion, then yes, use this outside of yourself, but realizing that it's all truly internal. But you can still use this outside of yourself if you are in compassion, that you're not trying to fix or change or heal somebody's path. But when you bring the pure light of you, it's kind of like the concept of me watching my sister embody her light. Her client comes in, embodies their light, and their light and them are what does all of the miracles and magic, is them. She is this there holding that space, that remembrance, and say, holding that space. And so the same would go with this wand and just you holding your light. So if you're going to use this on anything outside of you or someone, think of it that way, is that you are just holding your light for them. You're not trying to fix poor Aunt Martha's cancer. You're just bringing her light so that she can traverse what she's going through in her own way, maybe with some higher potentials and some grace and ease. So, yes, you can totally use it with compassion. And that's, as we step into our spiritual maturity, we are going to step into true creatorship. But we're still staying a little tempered for now. But we are so there that we are getting ready to step into our true creatorship. But, we still have, there's still some temperance going on here, so that as we do step into creator, because we can't come in as creator with any of the human stuff, with the spectrum of the human light, or at least not the way it has been. So as we change our spectrum of light, and then we become what patterns our energy into creation. And so I've been holding back for about 2 years now on creation. I've totally been just holding back. And I feel like I'm so ready to unleash my consciousness into creation. But that comes with, again, that spiritual maturity of having that understanding and compassion for all souled beings that we share this plane with. Because everybody is here to go through their process. But yes, I feel like we can do grand things by sending reminders of that pure light. So here in the future, we might do some gathering and playing with this, but I would just like to ask for you to play with this one for a while on your own and see how it goes, and start using your imagination. And again, you know, you can never do anything wrong with any of the tools or any choices that you ever make. So yeah, do just play. And if there's something that I've said that puts a limiting factor on it, that just disregard it then. If there's something that you feel, like I said, that isn't quite resonant with your path and your way, yeah, please follow you and trust your path and your way with the tools and with everything. Um, so anyway, I think that might be all we're going to do here for today. Like I say, I was wanting to do some more exercises, but I'm not even certain. Let's see if there's anything else that we could work on. I would say the feeling into the field is going to be the biggest thing, because from there, once you are really feeling into and you can discern this field, this pure light of you from the rest of the light spectrum, and you can just kind of sit with it. And so something my sister said about it too was something about the real magic of it is bringing all that light together, that pure light of you and that whole light spectrum of the human. And it's like bringing it together. So, in all the work that we're doing right now, it's not replacing one thing for another. It's not saying, oh, here's the bad, we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to bring in the good. That's not how creation works. There is there's a multiplicity to it. This is true and real, this potential, this stuff that you're stuck or whatever. And this potential of your highest joy and passion and whatever, they are both true. So we don't negate one to replace it with another. We recognize the one first. So if you are in there and you're trying to do work and you're trying to get rid of something in creation, you don't get in and fight it, because when you get in and you try to fight something in creation, it brings more gravity to it and it manifests more. It's just the metaphysics of creation. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And even if you're trying to fight it and push it away, the more energy you exert that way, the more force comes this way. So, um, so yeah, you can't fix or heal something by negating it. You have to first look at it and accept it, because that energy is yours. Nobody outside of you caused and created this thing. It may appear that way, but it was done for you. And so this thing was there to serve you. So it's first recognizing that had a purpose and a role at some point in time. Might not be right now. Maybe you're just done with that whole thing of being a lowly human in a box having experiences. But yet, those are the things that are still coming. So it's about making a clear, conscious choice of no longer participating in this, but you're not trying to destroy that. That's my point that I'm trying to get across is that how to get out of here is to see this as being okay, that yes, this served me. And I am more, because I am a multidimensional human that has all potentials available within my light. And so you say, nope, no more of this. I see you, I recognize you, but I am stepping out of this because I am stepping here. And you make that choice. Stepping out of this and I'm stepping here. Thank you, though, for this. Ho'oponopono. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to let you go to wisdom now as I step into this. So just keep that in mind. If you get in and you try to do the work, is when you do the work, it's accepting of what is so that you can bring in the other potentials, which are all found in your light. Um, I want to use them when I pray or give blessings. Any advice? Oh, yes, Sarah. So, that was kind of where we did that exercise of anchoring in this wand into the room. That was one thought, because if you are, so here's a couple of other thoughts too. So that was one thought in real time, that you have that there as you are doing your other modalities, that you have this column of light. What a few practitioners do is they'll actually, when the client books their session and before they come into the session, they'll just take 5 minutes before the session and they'll do the work with them energetically, and it transcends time. So here's what we do. If you're getting ready to see a client and you want to hold the space and do the work for them before they come in, so that that is included in the rest of the modalities that you offer. So before they come in, you go into the heart space and you imagine them standing before you, and you just use the tools. So if you imagine them standing before you and you're using the tools, it's your intention. And so perhaps you are wanding them up and down, or perhaps you are asking for that energy to go and glow in that specific space or place. If there's a certain situation that you're working on, energetically take that situation and send the energy to it right before they get in. And so going soul to soul with a person, let's do that right now. So to create that safe, sacred space, you go into the heart space, that breath from earth, the breath from creation, and the Trinity, the third breath. Breathe them both into you, grounded, connected, and in the heart space. Now imagine your space as you're going to see your client, and it is a sacred space. You can even put a bubble or a dome around it, and that is your sacred space. Everything else has to stay outside. And then invite your loved one, your client, your person into this dome, into this space, safe, sacred space. And again, it used to be that when you work person to person, you have to ask for permissions to work on them because it was person to person. We are working soul to soul, but yet we don't ever want to overstep and try to force or push something onto anybody. So that's kind of one of the things within this space, that it's your intent that everything is always in the highest and best good. And just remembering that you are simply there to hold a space. Like my sister does when she stands in her light, her client comes in, stands in their light, and miracles and magic take place. My sister's not trying to fix or heal or push agendas. And that's how we need to operate with this new energy. Otherwise, the fields collapse. So just remembering that. So then when the client or your loved one comes into that space, instead of running energy, and maybe that's what you feel in your heart. But to me, I almost feel like I should just hand them the tools, hand them the field and say, here you go. Do with it as you wish. But you can run the energy to them. But just remember, without agenda. So, yeah, doing that work beforehand is huge because, they don't need to be there in person because when we're doing this kind of work too, it's beyond the mind and the human and them doing and accepting and thinking and releasing and everything else. It is just all them working with their light. Again, the miracles and magic of you embodying your light and the other embodying their light and everything that takes place. All right. So I think that might be it for today then. Yeah. Again, totally suggest using this on your person for everything, and even if it's the things outside of you, like, hey, my abundance, which is simply a blockage and a lack in everything that comes up as a blockage to abundance. Let's try this, you guys. All right. We'll do another fun thing here. All right. So let's bring up. Okay, so I know a lot of the from You Wealth Revolution that wrote in, a lot of it was the abundance issues, and so abundance isn't. Um, you're infinitely abundant. Everything is your energy. It's always here to serve you. I mean, you are infinitely abundant. You own universes. You are infinitely abundant. But the game that we play is that we disconnect ourselves. We create all of these blockages to our abundance. Some of them, could be the hereditary stuff, the vows of poverty, and we do that. We clear that, the ancestral line stuff. Um, but um, the other things that can be in your blockages to your abundance, there's the self-worth. There's a lot of different energetic blockages that we create and accept. And so let's see. We'll just play. So thinking of it in a way that, you're not emotionally tied into this. So we're just kind of talking. Let's say that you have blocks and you don't know what they all are, but you have blocks to your abundance because you are infinitely abundant. And so let's intend that we're going to take all of the blocks to our abundance, whether it's hereditary, whether it is self-worth, whether it is a program of suffering, whatever it is. Let's dig deep. Let's deep. Open deep to what your blockages of abundance and health and joy are. Bring them there, and let's bring our pure light. Again, without agenda, we're just bringing our pure light to all of the things that prevent us from truly stepping into our joy, into being abundant, into being healthy. And we're just bringing our pure light to it. And maybe some gratitude, some understanding, some gratitude for those things being there in the first place, because they served us. And now then, we're ready to release them. We're choosing to put these down. We're choosing to take all of that no longer serves us and set it down, hand it to soul, whatever, bringing your light to it. It's just you making that clear, conscious choice. I set this down. And bring in that pure light of you and smoothing out everything with that pure light of you. right. So, um, yeah. um, yeah, thank you all for being here and for doing this work. Well, and for being. Um, yeah, just be open, play. All right. Much love, you guys, and we'll see you again soon.